pretty sure it's probably just a termite mound, but it's nothing, I'm afraid. I was just checking below the Cheetah Plains pan. Let's check towards Buff Pan. So yes, Fuzzman sparkles, it's very possible. So especially when it hit land in Mozambique, there were 160km/h winds. We obviously didn't get that. As soon as it hit land, it dissipated quite quickly. So we just got some rain, and not even that much, not the great deluge we were expecting. So Bustard. Oh, flying away, Bustard. So there is possible that sometimes after a tropical cyclone you get seabirds that get blown inland. So it is always possible, but I think more than likely we are going to get maybe an influx of bee eaters. And oh, hello. Oh goodness, isn't that wonderful? Brian, I've spotted something, but I need to move, and I'm hoping it doesn't move while I move. It's right next to us. Of course, there's that black-bellied bustard, but it's very seldom you get this little creature sitting so nicely. So I'm just going to try and get us in the right spot to see it. Now, the reason it's sitting like this is obviously because of all the damp that we've had. You got him, Brian? Oh, no! It flew away. It was a very, very beautiful blue pansy butterfly. Oh dear, it was sitting so nicely. Here. I never get tired of the black-bellied bustard when they're display calling. Oh, who knows, maybe with the rain we might even get a Cory bustard. Oh, have you got an itch? No, stretch. Morning exercises, that's what that is. Oh, biting flies are out in force today. Oh, stunning. Puffing up its tail, and specifically with the long grass around, these prominent calling spots of the black-bellied. Oh. These prominent calling spots become far more important, because if he was down off the termite mound in the grass, he wouldn't be visible, and then the ladies wouldn't know how to find him, and that would be so sad. Now, bustards nest on the ground, and the lady will choose quite long grass generally for the nest. And nest is a strong word. They basically just make a little shallow scrape in the ground when they lay their eggs. Now, while we've been watching, I've been hoping to hear some Impala snorting or wildebeest snorting. Oh, no, all I can hear is bullfrogs. Boom. Okay, well, Bustard, we got cats to look for. So I still haven't seen where these lioness crossed last night. Here, looking for some. Ah, no. Okay, so we're going to keep searching Cheetah Plains, enjoying the lush greenery that surrounds us. And while we do that, let's go see what Miss McCurdy is up to.
We are back. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what darted across the road, but we couldn't find it anymore. We couldn't find any leopard tracks, so I'm uncertain what it was. We're back on Hippo Pools Road. We've passed where the lions had disappeared into. You can't even see them from the road anymore. I'm probably going to have to go back and drop a branch so that anybody that wants to head there but later will know exactly where to go. Otherwise, they're just going to be driving around in circles. But I'm coming back to the carcass. I'd love to have a look and see if these vultures have started feasting just yet. You can start to smell the carcass, which means that we must be close by. It's not too bad just yet. Let's see, you can see the vultures. No, there's no one on the carcass. Not one thing. Let's go have a look. Let's quickly investigate. Hang on, there's one on the ground. But they're not eating. That's not where the carcass is. The carcass is right here. Look at this. So there's the carcass. Look at how quickly they've eaten it. They've been here though. They've already eaten. But remember, maybe 25 minutes ago, half an hour ago, there was all that flesh between the ribs of this waterbuck. And it hasn't even taken them that long to come through and completely decimate this carcass. Look at that. There's nothing left. There's absolutely nothing left for these vultures to feast upon. So I think what happened is, while we were sitting with the nkuhumas as they were drinking water, I suspect that they'd obviously swooped down and munched away on all the last little scraps. And I think that's why the nkuhumas looked so disappointed when they came back to the carcass, is because there was genuinely nothing left for them to eat. Isn't that incredible though? That is amazing. And it just shows you how important these vultures are at cleaning up all the remnants, them and the hyenas, and hopefully the hyenas will come through as well. And we'll take care of these bones. But that might be a good addition to James's collection of skeletons. What do you think? Because it's almost intact, hey Dave? Yeah. It's actually quite nice. Maybe we'll have to try and come and steal it before the hyenas get to it, because it's got all its legs still, it's got its ribs, it's got its vertebrae going up its neck. There's actually a lot of it that's still here. And that's the only problem is when the scavengers do come in, is that they'll scatter carcasses. So you might just see the head, and then you won't see any remains of the rest of the body, because they'll be, deposited everywhere. I can't believe that. David, that was quick, eh? Yes. That was exceptionally quick. My goodness. Okay. Well, there we go. The feeding frenzy we didn't get to see. Woo. Right. I'm going to quickly just turn my bottom, Wendy's bottom, into the corner here. Watch out, David. And actually, maybe a good idea. Thanks for that, Jerry. Why don't we do, and I'm sure hopefully a whole lot of you took some screenshots of what the carcass looked like when the lions were feeding upon it, and maybe if you got a screenshot over there, you can see the difference. It would be quite nice. So post them on #SafariLive on Twitter, or you can even send it through questions@WildEarthTV. Goodness, it's easier to get in to these little nooks and crannies, but to get out of them can sometimes prove to be a little bit on the tricky side. Let's do another turn to my arm exercises today. Right, sorry buffalo, waterbuck, but thank you for providing a meal for, all the animals that live around here. We're going to continue on Hippo Pools Road now. I want to go and have a quick look at Gwari Pan, actually, and just see how that water's doing, and maybe Boris the Blade, Brent's friend, the crocodile, has perhaps come back from Buffelshoek, because I saw his tracks crossing out the next morning after we'd had him on foot, which was about, how long ago was that now? About almost a week ago, I suspect. So we'll probably go and have a look there. You never know, that pool is nice and deep. He definitely wasn't in Buffelshoek Dam. I had a quick scan, and of course those hippos were there, but a couple of terrapins and the Egyptian geese were there, but that seems to be all for the moment that's living in Buffelshoek Dam. It's lovely and deep. Let's see who else we can get here. Maybe a steenbok in the long grass. That would be quite nice. We often see the steenbok around here. You've got to look very carefully now at this time of the year, because they're even standing up. This grass has now got long enough that they would be completely hidden. They don't even need to sit down. It's lovely up here though, lovely and lush. And I hope that the big herds of buffalo will come back soon, as we're starting to move out of summer. Okay, we're almost there. I can start to see the pans. Whee! There it is. It's just on the other side, but we just have to go a little bit past it and then we'll go back towards it again. Aha! We'll see if we've had any visitors over the last couple of days. Now we'll just check very carefully in the vehicle because I don't want to walk to the edge with Boris the Blade in it. Especially this brown murky water. He'll be hidden. I'm actually going to... It doesn't look like he's here. I can't see any signs. I haven't seen any tracks. Sorry, David. I'm just going to... I want to see what the strange stuff is that's inside the water. And I hope you don't roll away. Okay. Ooh, ah. I lost a spanner. This fell out. I don't know. It must have come out of my head. Loose bolt or something. Right, let's see. I thought they were eggs for a moment. Hey, Darby, don't you think from a distance? All this little sort of material that's on top of the water. Initially, I thought that it was probably going to be all bullfrog eggs again, but it doesn't look like it. It looks like it's from all the different grass seeds that have obviously blown off in the wind that we've had and the rain, and now have ended up on top of the water surface. It's a big pan now. It's quite lovely and make a great spot for elephants to come wallowing in. Right, let's get plugged in again. Next stop, should we do Cheetah Cutline? I think we should do Cheetah Cutline. That's lucky, maybe we get an Ellie. Oh, I've got my handbrake on. Yeah. Right, I think we're going to go down towards Cheetah Cutline. That seems to be my lucky road at the moment, to have a little scratch around there. We're going to go across to James, and I think I heard Geraldine say correctly. It sounds like James may be acting a little bit sluggish.
Acting a little sluggish, yes indeed, a little bit sluggish, everybody. And I must compliment Leo Smith on his little quip earlier. I suppose, yes, my grumpy face does look rather like a bushveld rain frog's grumpy face. There is a slug, and I am feeling a bit sluggish because the slug is sitting on my fist. And now it is looking at you. It is very intrigued by the look on your face, everyone, and it is thinking to itself, good heavens, what a collection of very fine examples of humanity are looking at me right now. I feel honored to be watched by them. Would you not say that that's what he's saying, Liam?
No.
You don't know?
He bite you with his vampire teeth.
He cannot bite me. He does not have vampire teeth.
Looks like a leech.
He looks like a leech, says Liam. He's sucking my blood. He is, of course, entirely vegetarian. This is a slug, in case you were wondering. And it is very much like a snail, just without the shell. And it will be in search of dead or dying plant material, or perhaps marula fruits. Now, I don't know if you were on drive 2 nights ago, but these slugs actually quite enjoy marula fruits. At least the snails do. Those big giant land snails love a bit of marula, which I didn't know and I've never read about before. So maybe this chap is after the same sort of thing. Now, where we are is on the Mluamati drainage line at the junction with Nyala Road South. We're hoping that there might be... This is the last place the leopards were seen. We've got now some baboons alarm calling. Sounds like twin dams. So I know Taylor and Brent are nowhere near there, but perhaps Brent on his way back from Cheetah Plains would like to go past Twin Dams just to have a look. We're going to head that direction and see if we can't pick something up, and I'm going to put Sluggy McSlugface down over here next to 2 beetles who we have caught in flagrante delicto. There they are, mating beetles. A species of dung beetle in the, well, carnal act of making a couple of more dung beetles. I'm not going to disturb them. Come on, Liam. There's the slug. The slug, of course, is now appalled by the place at which I put him and is moving away. at high speed. Daniel, you say is a slug just a snail without a shell? No, it isn't. I mean, it is a completely different species. It's the same order. It's a mollusk, not same order. Yes, I mean, imagine it is the same order. But they are a different class of invertebrate. So they are the mollusks, and to them belong the snails, the slugs. I'm not sure what other mollusks there are, actually, other than snails and slugs. It won't be closely related to the snails that we have here. I mean, they can never interbreed. And a snail, of course, shell is completely unlike, for example, the hermit crab's shell. The hermit crab's shell is not attached to it, but something like a snail has the shell attached, and it grows with, a bit like a tortoise, it grows with the animal. And so it's not like that thing's just fallen out of its shell. A snail cannot fall out of its shell. It occupies its shell completely. And Kyle, you want to know if slugs are related to leeches? I don't know if a leech is a mollusk. I really don't know the answer to that, Kyle. I'm going to ask you to look it up for me, if you don't mind. Is a leech related to a slug? I don't know what class of invertebrate a leech is. You see, we hardly get them here, so I'm not really sure. Now, Herbert is headed off down here, and it's just so gorgeous in here, isn't it? It's like walking through a little forest, and the sounds of the birds have changed completely. We've got southern boo-boos, an alarm call of a white-browed scrub robin, the smell of water in the foliage, and there's a lot more in the way of soil humus down in these areas, so it just smells a lot richer, more organic. Oh, it's gorgeous. Herbert has done a circle around us because he's a very he basically should be part of the special forces, I suppose. There's a Nyala. Here, this is quite interesting. Do you want to see something interesting, Vim? Come over here. I can hear Connor. Connor is close by. If you'd like to show us to him, Jerry. Connor is, if he heads due east and then a little bit due west and a little bit south from where he is now, he'll find us in this drainage line. I'm not sure if our GPS is working. Right, let's keep going up through here. I'll just see if I can get another view of Connor. Connor is just off to our eastern side. It might be quite nice for you to see the thick bush that we're walking through. But I don't hear him anymore. I think he's headed away. So we'll head towards Twin Dams before we turn north again. Just see if we can't perhaps pick something up there. We found such lovely things after the rain, and that is so typical after the rains, and that's why half the reason the rains are so nice. Yes, it's lovely to have the green grass as a result of the water, but it is also so lovely to find the creatures that come out after rain. And I think after a day of sun, and we should get some sun today, this place is going to explode with life. There's a little pan down here we'll go and have a look at. Ah, here we go. Ah, this is a hyena track. So thank you very much, Robin. Robin, you say that leeches belong to the phylum Annelida, so they're annelids. They're not, in fact, mollusks at all. So thank you very much for that. That's very kind. And the phylum that, I don't know, what phylum do the mollusks belong to? The Arthropoda. No, they're not arthropods. Did Robin say what phylum they belong to, Jerry? No, the mollusks. So we know that the leeches belong to the annelids. Okay, I don't know what the mollusks belong to. Anyway, I will do a little bit more research on exactly how the taxonomy works, but it means that basically a leech is a worm as opposed to a mollusks. Right, we're going to head down south through here along the drainage line, inhaling the gorgeous humus smell. Brent Leo Smith seems to be following something. What it is, I don't know, but he's going to tell you, no doubt.
Well, I told you there were some lion tracks came on Cheetah Plain. So look at this. Look at these tracks. The claws are actually out on this lion, and you can see how deep the impressions are that this lion was moving at some speed. And not too far away, we know why the lion was moving at speed. Now, here's some buffalo tracks. The first one starts here. And that buffalo was moving at even more speed to try and get away from the lion. It's dug right into the sand. Unfortunately, we're very close to the Kruger boundary, but I'm still going to check carefully around here. So it looks, or I can only see tracks of a single lioness here, but that doesn't mean there are others we can't see that could have literally leapt straight across the road. So let's see, maybe, fingers crossed, we're going to find something right here. So my plan is I'm going to head down towards the southern boundary. If we get no tracks coming back across, so if she failed in her hunt, and then we're going to walk into the grass. Oh, I'm going to get wet and full of ticks, but to find a lion, it's worth it. And see if they crossed the actual boundary of the Kruger into the Kruger and become Kruger lions. So there's a very good chance that the hunt was unsuccessful. Because remember, only about 15% of their hunts are actually successful. So 1.5 in 10. So there's a very good chance that was a failed hunt. But those tracks are really, really fresh this morning. Probably within the last 3 hours or so. Okay, here we go. Now there looks to be some tracks here. But what are they? They are not Orions. There's warthog, Impala, obviously coming for the marula trees. Hello Anisha. Anisha is wondering how many different prides of lions are there in this whole area. Well, Anisha, in the area we traverse, there really are only two that we see regularly, and that's the Nkuhuma pride and the Styx pride. We occasionally see the Tsalala pride or the Mangen pride as well, so that's 4. And then to the north of us, I've only seen them once, is the Talamati pride, and then to the east is Torchwood pride, which is mostly in Kruger. And if we think about other lions in the Sabi Sands, Southern pride, Ifield pride, Ottawa pride, Shimungwe pride. I'd say in the 60,000 hectares there's probably 10 to 15 different prides of lions. And so I'm not sure what happens to the south of us. I mean, some of the prides have gone. I mean, I used to work in the south. The Castleton pride is no longer. Just elephant tracks here. So it's you must remember, it's a constant changing and fluid thing. As lion prides get big, they get small, males die, cubs get eaten. It's a really, really continuous cycle. It's constantly changing. I'm not seeing any lion tracks. Are you, Brian?
No.
Brian? Make yourself useful and spot a lion, please. Thank you. Now, we saw those incredible tracks of that lioness bolting after a buffalo, and Miss Sky is wondering how long will they chase for before they just give up. Not very long. I think a lion with a buffalo depends, maybe 70-80 meters, and if they're not on its back in that time, they give up quite quickly. Now, of course, they can't. They've got incredible bursts of speed, but they can't maintain that speed for very long. This is not looking hopeful, is it, Brian? Oh, elephant tracks. Just the elephants. Now we've reached the southern boundary. I'm going to have to go back to where those last tracks are. Let us just have a look into the Kruger. There's more buffalo tracks here. Here we go, we're right on the eastern edge of Cheetah Plains, and this is the Kruger boundary. I wanted to see if I could see any tracks. Let's have a look up the boundary. So there used to be a fence here. It was removed in the early 90s. Ooh, what's that? A termite mound. And so there used to actually be a guard hut. There's a termite mound, and a little hut here where there used to be a guard. So you can see the old floor of the hut. There would have been a gate into the Kruger there. Oh, hello, Koki. One of my favorite little francolin species. And the Koki francolin, that's a little male. Now, they don't have the best voice in the world. They sort of sound like someone jumping up and down on rusty bed springs. Oh, can you hear the bullfrogs? Okay, Koki, we're looking for lions here. Okay, now while we make sure that these lions haven't dashed out of Cheetah Plains, it sounds like Taylor has got something that arachnophobes don't like. Let's go have a look.
I hope that Brent manages to catch up with those lions. It'd be interesting to find out who they are. But we haven't got a lion anymore. We have got two spiders, golden orb spiders. It might be difficult to see the beautiful colouring of the web because it is very glary out here today. But you can see the beautiful big female. Isn't she just lovely? And she's large. She's probably almost the size, with including her legs, of course, the size of my hand. She's a really big one. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to climb up in there. And I seem to get stuck in all the spider webs. David and I have caught, I think, about 5 bark spiders this morning. One which included on my face, because we drove straight through spider's web, and then, but luckily my nose caught it. Lucky for me. But she's just sitting there very calm. Just a moment ago, she was tugging on the various sort of lines that she has on her webs, and I wondered if she was just testing the strength to see if any of them needed to be pulled a little bit tighter or repaired. And I think she's got a very good spot. She's got a massive web. It's probably, I would say, about 4.5 foot wide and probably the same length as that. It's a really, really big web. She's got it sort of dangling between a guarri tree as well as some common spike thorn. There's lots and lots of it, and she's just got these little anchoring lines coming out everywhere. So I don't think I'm going to go up there, because I know what's going to happen is I'm going to slip, I'm going to fall, and I'm going to take her web down, and I really don't want to do that to her. That wouldn't be very nice, of course. Now, the reason why we are in the Mulwati is because Herbert gave us some interesting information. He'd said that he'd heard some baboons alarm calling. and we came down to Twin Dams to have a look, but nothing just yet. We just stumbled across a golden orb spider and her mate, who is sitting very quietly for the moment, I think trying to stay invisible. David, should we see if we can find these baboons? Now, they love to sit in these big jackalberries that are all decorated along the Mulwati banks. So hopefully we're going to come across them shortly. But I haven't been in here for ages. It's really lovely and lush at the moment. Very, very nice. Maybe we'll see some nice birds too. Oh, David, watch your head. We're going to have to come and do some trimming here, I suspect. Just got to pop the aerial down for this one, because it is quite a thick tree, especially now with all the leaves, and normally you can just sort of brush through it. Aha! Are you ready, David? Watch your head. So we're searching for the baboons. Now, Herbie says it didn't call for too long, so they could have just been alarming it. Maybe it was a bird of prey, or maybe they saw a snake. Could be a number of different things as to why they were shouting. Maybe one just got upset with the other one. But what I'm hoping is that this is the area where James is searching and where the leopards, the royal family, were last seen. So I'm hoping that we're going to get lucky here. Actually, I can hear the game drive radio going. Let me just put it on. I thought they were going to probably talk to us and give us, I thought Herbert was going to say, we've got the leopard, come on in, or something like that, but sadly no. Now, Jessica, you're wondering, how big can spider webs get? And that really depends on the spider, Jessica. So the golden orbs and the garden orbs, or just all the orb web spiders, they tend to build really, really big webs, but the one that I'm most impressed by is probably the bark spider. And the reason why I enjoy the bark spider so much is because we had one in here. I think it's now gone though. I'm just having a look. I think it has left us. But normally they're brown in color, a little bit gray, little bits of white on it, and it looks like almost the bark of a leadwood tree. And they're quite small. They're probably about that big. They don't get too much bigger than that. They make their webs at night, and they normally take them down just first thing in the morning, and then they go and hide away on a branch. And the reason why I enjoy them so much is because they'll start on one side, and sometimes you'll get bark spider webs that will cover this entire drainage system that we're in at the moment. So that's probably about 12 feet wide, and you'll get their webs going. I'm not sure what spider builds the largest web in the world, but it'll be quite an interesting thing, I think, to find out, and whether it's one spider or do they live in communities, for instance, like the community web spiders. Now, I don't know if you've seen them yet, Jessica. They're probably one of my favorite spiders to have a look at. And unfortunately, they don't maybe make big webs and beautiful webs like that golden orb did, but they sort of make these clusters. And I'll try and find one for you today so that I can then show you. But it's really amazing. They bring lots and lots of leaves and debris to form a little shelter. It almost looks like a rain spider nest if you've ever seen one. Lots of silk and web all together, almost making like a little house. And they make these big balls. And sometimes they don't just have one, they have maybe 2 or 3, and there'll be hundreds and hundreds of spiders all living and working together in that nest. Oh, it seems as though the trend this morning is creatures with 8 legs. Let's go across to James, who's on foot, and he's also got a spider.
Now, if you were ever wanting to have some kind of a swim and you felt hot, but you were arachnophobic, this would be the very, very worst pan for you to have a little dip into. That is a massive water spider of some description, and I don't know exactly what kind of spider it is, but I can tell you that it is probably not venomous, despite its rather fearsome look. Now, what I will do is try and inspire it onto the surface of the water. What I think it's doing here is just touching the surface. I don't know if you can see that. It's touching the surface with one limb. And by doing that, I suspect that it's probably attracting things, perhaps bottom-dwelling insects, maybe even tadpoles or small frogs that would like to come up and see if that isn't an insect that they can grab and eat. There are lots of little subsurface insects and things, and possibly frogs that keep leaping to the top of the surface and then going down again. And I think that is almost like a fishing rod for this amazing spider. It has astounding colors on it.
I don't see that big one. I thought you looked at the other big one.
This one here.
No, there's a yellow one to the left.
Oh, I saw that one too, yes. But have you seen this one?
Yeah, we got it. Looks like it's eating another spider.
Oh, it is eating another spider. Yes, I couldn't see that. It is amazing. It is indeed eating another spider. Hello? You're not very nice. You're eating your own kind. I suppose it's a bit like a chimpanzee eating a baboon or a monkey.
Leopard eating a leopard.
Or a leopard eating a leopard. Except that they're not the same species. They're as far removed from each other, probably, as we are from Impala, for example. Isn't that cool? Now, there are lots and lots of these spiders around here on the water. Maybe that's what this thing was, that's what that limb in the water is intended to do. Attract these surface-dwelling spiders. Can you see any others, Fiam?
To your left.
To my left, there's a surface dweller.
Oh, no, I don't know.
No, a surface-dwelling spider there. In front of me, over there, on the surface, is what this thing is eating. Can you see it there? There are 2 or 3 of them. Now that's what this spider has grabbed, and I suspect it probably just jiggles its limb in the water here like you would a fishing rod, and perhaps it attracts those spiders across here, and then it grabs them, digs its fangs inside, and sucks them dry. Really is not a nice way to go. We've seen 2 deaths this morning. Well, this one wasn't a death. This is a bit like finding the waterbuck kill with the nguhumas. Already dead, but being consumed. Shame. Now, a spider like this, you were seeing obviously an orb web spider with Taylor. A spider like this doesn't obviously make a web, but it can produce silk. I think all spiders can produce silk, but this just won't have a sophisticated spinning mechanism as those, such as the orb web spiders you saw. Now, water has a unique physical property, and that is that it has polar bonds, if I'm not mistaken. And what that means is that the molecules of water, which are made of 2 hydrogens, H2O, 2 hydrogens and 1 oxygen, because the hydrogen atom is so very small, and the... let me draw this for you quickly, because I think it'd be a little bit more easy to understand. And I'll explain the relevance to the sighting once I've done it. So, a water molecule, if that's the oxygen, looks like that, and there's the 1 hydrogen, and there's the 1 hydrogen. And they're in this state because it's stable for them. And what happens is that they share electrons. Now, I know that's not particularly interesting, but if I'm not mistaken, what happens is this, I remember this is from high school, the oxygen molecule atom needs another 2 electrons in order to be stable. So what it does is it has a covalent bond, which is basically means that it shares an electron with a hydrogen, which has got 1 electron, and with this hydrogen that's got the other electron. And because this is so very big, what you find is that there's a negative charge at the top of the water molecule and a positive charge down here where the hydrogens are. And what that means is that rather like with magnets, of course, let me do this side. This water molecule is then very much closely attached to the next one that is here. Right? And then over here.
That big spider is not swimming.
This big spider is swimming, is it? Yeah, there it is. Brilliant. And what that means is that because the molecule has this unique property where it is positively charged on one end and negatively charged on the other, all the molecules stick together quite strongly, and that gives the water property of the stickiness that water has. In other words, it drips from you. It's not like oil, which will almost come off you completely. That's why you get wet. It's because of those bonds. And it's also why water has a strong surface tension like this, that animals are able, if they're light enough, to live on top of. And obviously that spider is one such example, as are all the other spiders here, a whole lot of other insects and that sort of thing that are able to walk along the surface of the water, but only because of that unique physical bond that they have. So it's a really nice example of how the completely microscopic translate into a really important kind of they translate into an environment for the macroscopic to exist in. And if we went even closer or zoomed in even further to those hydrogen and oxygen bonds, which probably interests most of you not at all, you'd find there were unique quantum physics or quantum properties that allowed that situation to exist, which I think is rather fascinating. Probably not many of you find it. I'm sorry if I've bored some of you. Good. Okay, Taylor is in the drainage line here. Connor is heading around towards Twin Dams. There are now baboons shouting, I think, close to the junction of Elephant, Carcass, or maybe even Weaver's Nest Road and Gari Main, somewhere around there. Maybe that's where the royal family is. We'll head that way. I suspect Taylor will as well, but she'll tell you a little bit about that now.
Dam very quickly, and then we'll go back across onto Gari Main. Oh, that was a big swarm of flies. And then we'll head back towards Twin Dams again, and we'll just keep doing circles, because if we keep just looping around like this, eventually we're going to have to come across whoever is startling these baboons. But what I initially wanted to do was to actually find the baboons and sit with them and wait until they're alarmed again so we could see in which direction they were looking. But I haven't had too much luck just yet. So I suspect we might be maybe a little bit too far north. I think maybe, like James has just said, perhaps they are closer towards Gari Main. So we'll have a quick look here, see what's going on. Whee! I don't know if you've actually seen a treehouse dam yet, but it's lovely. It's the most water I've ever seen in it. We'll stop very quickly. Maybe we get to hear the baboons. I'm just going to listen for just a couple of seconds. I can't hear anything just yet. So it must mean that they're a little bit further south from where we are. But isn't this dam lovely? It's so nice to see so much water. Like I said, it's the most I've ever seen in this pan. So hopefully we're going to get a couple of crocodiles now that there's a bit more water coming to have, well, hopefully take up a permanent residence while there is some water here. Should we carry on, David? I think let's go. Sure, I don't know, this weather can't make up its mind. This big dark grey cloud came over us and started spitting slightly. Not a really pathetic attempt at raining, especially after the downpours we've had over the last 48 hours. And it's now chilly. It was hot. It was very hot and humid at one point. We were all saying it. Now it's like going a bit of a nip in the air. We'll have to see what's going to happen. And there's blue sky and clouds and sun. Here's the little spit that I was talking about. Monkey's wedding. Maybe that's why the baboons are shouting. And the clouds are raining when it's sunny. Okay, I'm going to put foot just a little bit here, just so that we can catch up and join back onto Weaver's Nest. Are you cold now, David? David's putting his jersey on. Oh, it's wet. It's not too bad. It's just a little spit. And I'm hoping that this weather clears so that I can wash my hair today. I can't wash it when it's raining. All of you ladies that have got long, luscious locks, or any gentleman that have got long, luscious locks, knows that it just causes a frizz. Okay, we're back on Weaver's Nest now. Let's go through here. So I just don't know where these baboons are sitting. They can't be sitting in any trees because we can see all the tops of the big trees. So unless they're sitting down on the ground, perhaps on the banks of the drainage systems, which would then very much make it difficult for us to try and spot them. I'm not sure what they're doing. We'll take it easy now, just in case we hear them alarming. Then I'll have to switch off. This is the hardest part, is when you're trying to spot game in this long grass. So, like I said, your eyes are constantly going. You know, I like to go from right to left when I'm scanning for animals, just to change it up a bit. Hearing a bird shouting, but that sounded like a magpie shrike. and they're quite chatty birds as is. I've seen Shongile and Hosana around here a couple of times on some of these termite mounds, and they are creatures of habit, so I'm just going to keep scanning just to make sure that they haven't gone back to a favorite spot. Isn't, but I can see an Impala next to one of Shongile's favorite termite mounds. Let's see if it's still there. Can you see it? Have we got him? Oh, there we go. Sorry. There he is. He's hiding. Let me go back a little bit more. There we go. Look at that. You've got to spot him through green bushes, lots of guarri trees and bush willows around here, and then of course through the long grass as well. And he's on his own. I can't see anybody else. He's listening very carefully. Ah, there's two rollers fighting. That's what that noise was. I got excited. I thought somebody was giving an alarm call, but it seems to be a domestic dispute between lilac-breasted rollers, but they've flown off now. Let's go up a bit forward. Let's go check. Hang on, there we go. There was a baboon. Right, let's quickly... Sorry, I'm trying to start the car. Let's go to Gari Main. I did just hear a baboon sort of go, "Bah!" But it sounded like it was possibly a youngster, maybe just getting a bit excited. It didn't sound like the very typical alarm, you know, shouting leopard or lion or hyena, whatever they could be shouting for. But hopefully, because this ground is so nice, we'll be able to see any tracks. There's hyena tracks going along here. We're going to keep on looking, and I'm hoping to find those baboons, and hopefully they'll give away what they've been shouting at all morning. And I'm going to go across to Brent now, all the way on Cheetah Plains, and we'll see if he's having any luck with the lions and the buffalo.
Well, the lions crossed into Kruger, but I just got a report that there was a leopard in this area. I didn't quite hear clearly, but apparently was stalking Impala right in this area, heading towards Cheetah Plains. So I just want to see if we can find some tracks. I don't even know if it's a male or a female. So this little road around here is apparently where it was last seen. Ah, I see a car. Now, is there a leopard here? That is the question. Let's just move forward a little bit. Yebo. In front of me. Awesome, thanks. So apparently the leopard's about to pop out on the road in front of us. So it means he's in here somewhere. Where are you? Sorry, I'm busy swatting at biting flies. Just move forward a bit. It's amazing now, we know there's a leopard here, we still can't see it. So apparently he's already crossed onto Cheetah Plains here somewhere. Oh, I see him, I see him. I wonder who it is. Thanks very, very much. I really appreciate it. It looks like a big boy, so it could be quarantine, but it's... What do you think? Well, you wanted to see leopards this morning, Brian? Is it quarantine? I think it is, Mr. Q. Oh, don't go in there. That's very long grass. I just need to call Rexon. I know Rexon's very interested in coming here. What is he after in that thicket? You hear the birds' alarm calling. Oh, you can lose a leopard in this long grass quickly. Just make sure. I think he's going to go straight through. There he is. I mean, basically we're watching grass move at the moment. And you see his tail, he's put it up in the air because the birds are alarming at him. Okay, I think I'm going to zoom around to the other road. I think he's going to pop out on the road. Oh dear. There he is. Well, Daniel, congratulations on your first view of Mr. Q. Let me just try stick with him. Oh, look at that beautiful light coming through. You can see when leopards have been spotted by different animals, and you can hear the testiculars going nuts above him, they put up their tail. It's almost sort of like, okay, you guys have caught me, I'm over it, I'm not going to eat you now. He must be quite hungry to be walking through the wet grass. So normally, yeah, he does look quite hungry. A leopard would be walking down the road to try avoid the grass and the seeds and everything, unless he's hungry. So he's using a bit of stealth. He is beautiful. And you can see how that camouflage just disappears him into the green grass. It also helps when the grass is taller than you. Oh, he is gorgeous. He's grown so much in the last 2 years. I mean, it's incredible that at his young age, he's already the dominant male in this area. See, he hasn't quite developed that massive dewlap like Tingana yet. And he is hungry and on the hunt. Rexon. Now, he's checking under all these little bushes, probably for steenbok or scrub hare, or even a duiker. But we all know Mr. Q, he likes kudu. Hi-oh, welcome to Safari Live. Hi-oh says, how can I tell which leopard that is? Well, Hi-oh, just from where we are, he's the dominant male in this area, and we've actually followed him for 2 years. This is one of Karula's cubs, who's now not so much a cub anymore. Is he going to go up? He's going to go up. Let's get a better view over the grass. That's exactly. Let me just go forward. Look at that. He's trying to see if there's any potential prey up ahead. How's that, Brian? Here we go, Mr. Q. Come on, spot something to eat. very happy with what he can see. Oh, there's nothing to eat. Oh, I know Rexon's desperate for leopard, but I can't seem to get hold of him on the radio. I'll try one more time. Isn't that gorgeous? Oh. He might take a break. Rex. Rex, is that you on Ingwe Road? Rexon. Yeah, Rex, just turn down Djuma Dam Road to the south. He's just gone up a Shasha. Copy, I can hear your mover. Oh, look at him. So he's decided to take a little break. Sorry about that, but Rex has been desperate for leopards. And while we're going to move around to get into a better spot to view him, Taylor is still following up on those baboon alarm calls.
We've got the baboons. We've just got to try and get another view of them without scaring them, because they are very skittish, as you know. They don't like the vehicles too much. There they are. And they were barking. They actually have moved further north. And they were looking west when they were barking. No, I've now changed my mind. I think they're shouting for nothing. Oh, hang on. See, there's a lot of commotion going on between the baboons themselves. I don't know what they've seen. They're looking now, but the big male, let me go forward, David. No, now they're running back east. I'm very confused by what's going on. Here's Herbie, but they were shouting, and then they look at me, and then they shout at me. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe it's because they've seen James. We're going to keep going back. I'm going to also pull off the road because there's a whole lot of vehicles. Sorry, David. Let me pull off quickly. Let these vehicles pass and then we will continue. Right, let's catch up with these baboons. So I don't actually know why now they're chasing each other. This is very exciting. No, they're also a bit nervous of us. We're just trying to find a gap again to see if we can get them. We can hear them. I can see them. I think we might get a gap up here. There they are. Like I said, they were up in a couple of big marulas. I think I know what's happening. I think it's two different troops of baboons having a domestic dispute. That's exactly what's going on. Because the troop that we've just had, that were just in here, that are moving along, are now moving well away. And you heard that big ruckus that was coming from further west of us. They've just given it sounded like a, "Wah, I'm the king of the jungle" type vibe. So I think that's what's happened. I don't think these are the same troops. I think they're two different families. And we see it a lot with baboons and vervet monkeys. They're very territorial. And the males will have a go at each other and try and chase each other to have the most favorable trees and the best spots. So I think that's what's happening. I don't know if there's a leopard here. I think that's why they weren't alarming like they normally would. I think they were just trying to shout and proclaim that this was their area, but I think sadly the chaps at the back maybe have won this one, because this lot have gone racing away. Here they are. Actually, it's very nice. Let's see if we can get a view there, David. I'm just going to watch my monitor. There. We go forward a little bit. You can see they're jumping up and down. It makes it so difficult. Let's try the next gap again, because it's really lovely. They keep jumping up onto higher vegetation. There they are, coming through now. We should see another group come through. There they come. And sort of looking back towards the direction of the other baboons. That's so cool. That's really interesting. And now, I mean, we were just speculating because we couldn't see anything that was going on. But now that other troop of baboons gave a shout, you can see them jumping. David, go right into that big quarry at the back. Go up, up, up. There they are. Can you see them just on the right-hand side? Now, Chris, you are wondering if we're in any danger, or if I feel safe with these baboons. Of course, not a problem. The problem comes in when, of course, if I go to Cape Town and I go to Table Mountain or those areas, or Cape Point, and I'm surrounded by baboons that have unfortunately been fed by people, then I feel very unsafe, because I've seen some footage where women and men get things snatched right out of their hands by baboons. And a big male baboon like the one that we're looking at, well, I don't know if I'd want to take a chance with something that has got canines, or well, as large as lions. And especially once they've lost their fear for humans, that is when animals become most dangerous. That's sort of the only thing we have that protects us from them, is that they have a natural fear of us and will try and run away when they can. Remember, it's not just one baboon either. They have a massive troop, and the males form an oligarchy. So it's almost like a super troop of just the biggest and the strongest males in that family that all stand together and look after them. Wasn't that lovely? I thought that was quite spectacular. I've got to move off of the road. We've got a couple of cars that have very patiently, very kindly switched off for us, so we'll just jump up over here and let them pass. At least we've got 4x4 and things, and we can do things that a normal car couldn't do. Morning! Thank you! Very nice. Lovely. That was so cool. What we might even do is maybe we'll go and sit towards Baboon Pan and Twin Dams and have a look. Maybe I think those baboons are on their way. Maybe they come through. But I think it's time to go back to that beautiful boy by the name of Quarantine.
Ellie, welcome back. Look at that beautiful, beautiful male leopard. Oh, he's going to eat your chin. Oh, I never get tired of seeing Mr. Q. And we've got a visitor. We've got elephant. I just heard it now. And Quarantine doesn't seem to mind much. But you can just hear that elephant moving through the grass. I think we might just see his bottom. So there's an Ellie there. He has no idea Mr. Quarantine is here. Oh, it's amazing how such a massive animal can disappear. We'll keep an eye out, see if he pops out in the open. Oh, Quarantine's up. So as I said, he's quite hungry, so there's a very good chance he's going to get up and move again. There we go, he's going to come down. He's going to come down right next to us if he does. He's watching the elephant at the moment. Very intently staring at the elephant's bottom. No interest, of course. And yeah, the Ellie's popped out. Remember, hashtag Safari Live or questions at WildEarthTV if you've got any questions for us. I know most of you are just probably ecstatic to see one of your favorite leopards, and one of mine, Mr. Q. Ooh, uh-oh. No sneeze, go away, sneeze. Now, Veronica's wondering how old Quarantine is. I'm trying to remember now. I think he's just over 4. If you guys know exact Quarantine's exact age, please let me know. I think I've got a bit rusty, but I'd say he's between 4 and 5 years old at the moment. Whether he's closer to 4 or 5, I'm not sure. So if you know the answer, pop it on hashtag Safari Live or questions at WildEarth.tv. As I mentioned, it's incredible that he's already a dominant male. Normally 5, 6 years old, they really come into their own, but he's pushed off his half-brother, Shivambalan, at this very young age, and he's been seen mating with Nkanyeni, so it is incredible how dominant he is at such a young age. Come on, come down the tree. Time to go hunting. Still watching that elephant, who's now moved around behind Wrexham. There goes the Ellie. Elephant in quarantine. Looks like he's thinking about coming down. Hi Chris, who's a new viewer. Oh no, he's just changing spots for his news. Chris says, surely a leopard wouldn't attack an elephant. Chris, they surely would not. Elephant is way too big. I'm just going to reposition slightly. And an elephant is way too big for even a big male like Mr. Q. Once elephants are past about 16, 17 years old, there is no real threat for them apart from human beings and each other. So it looks like he's got himself quite comfortable. He's probably been moving for quite a few hours already, and he's had no success. Oh, I'm sure you guys are getting some great screenshots. Isn't that cute with his 2 little paws there? No, he's listening for any sound of Impala or other antelope. As I said, you can see that concave belly. He is quite hungry. Now, I don't think he's quite starving yet, but I was chatting to Brian earlier and we were discussing if we got little Hasana with all those bullfrogs in a puddle. Could be quite interesting. So animals like leopards will eat things like bullfrogs, but only if they don't really have a choice. Can you hear the bullfrogs in the background? Whoomp, whoomp. James, who's another new viewer, great to have you with us, James, would like to know, if the elephant saw the leopard, would it try shake it out of the tree? No, probably not. And it's a very big tree as well. But no, they wouldn't try shake it out of the tree. But elephants will chase predators if they catch them on the ground. They'll chase lion, leopard, cheetah, wild dog, hyena. Elephants really don't like predators in their space. As I said, he's probably been moving for quite a while already, and he's got a bit hot. That's probably why he's having a snooze now. And I think on a day like today, he might move during the day again. He might keep hunting, so I think it's definitely going to be worthwhile trying to see if we can find him this afternoon again. Look at those ears. He's still listening. He's still alert. Always great to catch up with Mr. Q. I haven't seen him in quite a while. Now, I took one step off the car today to look at those lion tracks, and I got attacked. Now, normally the ticks don't bother me too much, but there was one who got right behind my knee. Let me rephrase. 2. That's a big one as well. Oh. Okay, O'Brien. I'm being feasted upon. There you go. Look at that. Almost perfectly still. That looks like a very comfortable spot. He does seem to find the best trees. Now, I'll show you my ailment now. Look at that. Look at that. It's not even a pepper tick, it's a proper tick. And he's latched onto me. Now, when you remove them, you've got to be quite careful to take the head out. Otherwise, they can get infected. Ugh. Evil. Pop it there. Now, of course, we say evil. They really aren't evil. They're just... Oh, he's stuck on my finger now. They really aren't evil. Oh, dear, I think I pulled my ears out. I did. They really aren't evil, but they are very irritating for us out here. Let me put my ears back in. Now, he's taken over most of Shivambalan's territory. I think he's pushed Shivambalan into Kruger. Now, Veronica is wondering, how much distance is there between Quarantine and Tingana's territory? They actually share a boundary. So Quarantine runs from around the Cheetah Plains Lodge, due north into Torchwood, and Tingana is to the west of him. So he's got the Eastern Territory and the eastern part of Torchwood, eastern part of Cheetah Plains. Tingana is west, Chitwa, Djuma, all the way through. So there's actually no distance at all between their two territories. Now, while he's snoozing away up in the tree, and you can see his wet paws from the long grass, I wonder how wet James has got while walking through the grass this morning.
Well, I've got relatively wet, I suppose, but most of the moisture has come from the quite exceptional amount of sweat now pouring down my back. under my arms. How what a lovely thought. And you can see I'm wearing my hat at this jaunty angle on account of the fact that my head is now also full of sweat and many flies. So it's not so much the ticks that have got hold of us, it is the biting flies. This is our last port of call. This is where we are going to give up the search for the leopards today. We've walked quite a distance, I must say, and we thought maybe they might be here. We checked where Taylor was. There was a bullfrog there. We're just going to keep an eye there, and then we walked west along the fire break just to see if they perhaps had come up from the south. They haven't, that as far as we can tell. They may have never gone to the south, but it's really impossible in these kind of conditions to find exactly where they've gone, so we're not sure where the royal family is now, which is distressing. Right, come with me. Let us do a little walk around this pan. We'll just see if we can't find some tracks. I don't know if we will. I suspect that we won't. VM was expecting to find... We found leopard poo. You found leopard poo. Do you want to show it to our viewers? Do you think that poo is a nice thing to show our viewers? Yes. Oh, okay. Well, come on then. Where is your leopard poo? Where is it? Ah, how beautiful. Look at that, everybody. There, VM has found our final thing to show you today. An enormous pile of leopard dung, deposited here by the royal family that we were looking for. And indeed, there is a beetle on it. Can you see it? No. There are 3 or 4 carrion-eating beetles that are now enjoying the taste of delicious leopard dung. On that note, I'm going to say goodbye to you from the bushwalk. On behalf of VM, Herbert and I, we will see you this afternoon in the tent at 1600 hours. For now, enjoy the rest of the drive with Quarantine the male leopard.
Well, there we go. Mr. Q is giving us a tiny glimpse of his eye. And, only space for one paw now. Temperature's heating up a bit. It's definitely quite humid. I think he's more than likely not going to be in this exact spot come this afternoon, but we'll definitely try. And as James says, he'll be in the tent this afternoon. I'll be on the vehicle. The killer bees will be in search of killer things, like Mr. Q. No, put your head back in the fork. It's not being too obliging at the moment. Sarah would like to know how long can a leopard go without food. Well, Sarah, probably up to 10 days, 2 weeks. But generally they eat every 2 or 3 days. Now one must remember that they eat a lot of little stuff that you don't often see, like dwarf mongoose and squirrels and baby franklin or eggs. Oh, he's up. I want to get to the right side of the tree. No, Quarantine, you're going too quickly. Good, he stopped. We just want to be on the right spot in case he comes down. There he is. As I said, there's a strong possibility he might get moving again as he gets hungry. I wonder if he heard something that caused him to stand up and look around. I am really hoping we are able to find him on the Sunset Safari again. I do enjoy spending some quality time with Mr. Q. But he's looking in a direction that we don't want him to be looking, back towards the boundary. We're not very far from the boundary. Well, we've had the Incahumas, and now Mr. Q. So I would say this is what we would call a successful Saturday Cataday. And hopefully that success extends into the sunset safari. I'm going to say goodbye from Taylor and Dave, and of course the killer bees. And we will see you in a not too long for the sunset safari. So for the last little while, as the thumb marches off, let's have a look at the magnificent leopard in the tree, Mr. Quarantine. Isn't he lovely? But we will be seeing you in a few short hours for the sunset safari. So adieu, bonne nuit, adios.